Good afternoon, traders. It's Bill Baruch with Blue Line Futures, and this is the FX Rundown. Tomorrow's all about the ECB at 6:45 a.m. Central Time. They are going to give their decision on their interest rate policy. They're not expected to do anything. They are expected to wind down the last bit of QE purchases, though. It's been expected all year. And then 7:30 a.m. Central Time, you got Mario Draghi giving his press conference. This is when volatility typically starts to pick up. So to the downside, we're watching 113. You have a trend line comes in 113.10, 113.25. This has been our support level, starting going back on that Monday FX Rundown report. If it starts to get below there, yeah, we've seen a low. We've seen a low around 112.5. It's going to accelerate down to there. So keep that in mind if we close below that trend line. But we're less concerned about that 112.5. And essentially looking at this being the reinvigoration of a new downtrend if it closes below there. So be careful, because on the flip side, you have the dollar index. The dollar index is fighting against that 97.80 high, going back on a huge retracement, but also aligning with 2017 in May. So watch this level very closely, because if the euro goes down, the dollar is likely going to start to be testing that resistance and take it out. They could feed on each other and moving. Now, if Mario Draghi is a little downbeat, sort of leaving that door open, that's what we could see. But we don't necessarily think that. German GDP contracted last quarter, the third quarter. Yeah, everybody knows that, but that was an outlier. It's expected to switch, and there's supposed to be more growth coming in this quarter. You got better confidence data. It was better than expected sentiment data earlier this week. This should be supported from what Mario Draghi talks about. Into the upside, 114 has capped the euro this week. We saw it even today. Again, 114 sold off after UK Prime Minister May got her confidence vote. The pound sold off a little bit too. So you're seeing the euro finish the electronic session around 113.60, 113.70. If and when Mario Draghi is a little more upbeat, we see that 114 getting taken out. The real resistance is going to be around 115. Got to watch that level. But we've been trading below this area, but in this area as well through the last couple of months before breaking down to that 112.44. A lot of volume, 115 all the way to 116. We have different sort of trend lines, retracements, volume pockets. So you have a lot of resistance up there. If you are long the euro, look to capitalize something up there in 115 area. I mean, unless we get a huge switch of tone from Mario Draghi. If that's the case, you could start to see short covering, fresh buying in the euro, and it could probably go out above 115, but it would happen very quickly. What would really need on a fundamental basis, not just from Draghi, but what would we need on a fundamental basis to see a move really out above 115? That would be the Fed next week. And CPI data today was in line on the core side, but it was a little softer on the headline. And the core, remember, has missed ultimately for the last 3 months in a row. So the Fed next week is going to be key. That CPI plays into that. That lesser than expected non-farm payroll number plays into that next week. The volatility and markets, international trade, all play in that next week. So this ECB meeting could really get the ball rolling on that. So be ready. The dollar index, again, this from yesterday's close, did finish a little lower after the CPI number. So again, be ready for ECB tomorrow. It's going to be a big mover. And then the other one we're looking at is the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar has been constructed. We've been talking about this for months. We like it. The major 3-star support is held once again. As long as we're seeing risk-on sentiment and not bad news, whether it be tweets or headlines, not bad news on trade, the Aussie should continue to find some support. You have new home sales out of Australia later tonight, so keep an eye on that. Give us a call if you need anything, 312-278-0500. You can email us info@bluelinefutures.com. You can check our website for updates. And you can sign up for a free trial of our research there. But remember, futures trading involves substantial risk of loss. It's not suitable for all investors. Thank you.